What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. Got Brian Daigle in the studio, as you're going to be seeing all week. And we got a special trip to Stamford Bridge on Wednesday night for the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. And Simon Johnson of The Athletic gave us an update on the Chelsea squad last night. And he says Chelsea are probably going to have to make many changes against Tottenham, with lots of players picking up knocks or suffering from exhaustion after the Liverpool match. So surely this is music to our ears.
It should be. It should be. But it could be one big ploy, like when we used to say someone's injured with a hamstring and then, oh, look, human son appears. You hope so. They're not on a good run of form. They have been playing a hell of a lot of games. So let's hope they do have to ring the changes.
Yeah, and if they do ring the changes, surely you back us to get a result there, at least a draw.
I'm backing us whether they make changes or not. But if they make a lot of changes, it will make our job, our life a lot easier.
And, following on from that, Conte has been speaking in his press conference today, and he says Spurs are checking on a couple of possible COVID cases in the squad ahead of tomorrow's Carabao Cup semi-final first leg at Chelsea. There are rumours doing the rounds on Twitter. No reliable sources, no journalists or even ITKs are saying it, but there are some rumours floating about saying that the players that are being tested are Kane and Lloris. So if it is those two players, that could be really detrimental for us tomorrow.
If it is those two, it's hugely detrimental because you're looking at Gollini, who we spoke about earlier, hasn't really done anything, and without Kane, we have no striker. Obviously, you got some, but then you need another player. I don't think there's two people we could least want it to be.
Literally. But look, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. I mean, Conte does say that it's not known just yet, so we're going to have to wait and see for more news to break on that. But he's also been speaking about transfers in his press conference, and we all know that he's been waiting for a meeting with the board. And it still hasn't happened. 3 days into the transfer window. We're now 3 days into the transfer window. Why has this meeting not taken place yet? I just don't get it. His quote is, "My expectation is to speak with my club and then to tell them my opinion. The club will know after I speak and a decision they want to make." So why has he not gone and spoken to them yet? I don't understand it.
All right, I'm going to choose my words very, very, very carefully in this segment. It's bloody obvious why. I mean, and I said this on my channel yesterday, and I want to know why this is happening, because from my point of view and from my understanding, the whole reason for Paratici is that he talks to Conte and Paratici talk. He's like the connecting, so they don't need to meet, so to speak. They can iron out the different. Paratici is there to make both their lives easier. So I don't see why Conte initially has to meet Levy. It's like that important. If there was no Paratici, then I get it. But why are we waiting on the third when people are making signings and making moves and planning things now? Are we still waiting for a so-called meeting to... This is why I get annoyed, and this is why I get very frustrated. Surely, January's coming, so you start planning for it. You don't say, oh, yeah, we'll just deal with it later on, and then when it gets here, you're like, okay, we best put our plans into action. We're 3 days behind everyone. This meeting doesn't need to be had with Paratici and Levy, Conte and Levy. It can easily be done with Paratici having a meeting with both done. It's just another story on the January transfer and the way we do business merry-go-round.
Well, the thing is, Conte needed time to evaluate his squad, right?
Yep.
At the beginning of December, I believe they met, and he asked for a further month to evaluate his squad. That further month is now up. So why are they not speaking? And I mean, he said last week that he's done his complete evaluation of the squad. He knows exactly what he needs. He knows exactly who he wants to get rid of. So I just don't get why that meeting is not first on the agenda as soon as he knows these things.
It's not even that. If you look at it, if we're doing it this way, if let's say Conte had a list of 10, 11, whatever amount of players, and he said, right, I want another month. When he sees the Winks, the Davies, the Dyers performing, surely the ones that he would have ironed out as their replacements, he can just cross them off that list and say, right, I've crossed the people off that list. These are the ones that I think we need to pursue. Done. They don't even need a meeting. Here's the list of objectives and players I want right now. I'm using this extra month to evaluate the players that I've got. Right, I can see that after the evaluation, the players that are needed for X, Y, and Z are not needed. So all the other players that I mentioned are on the table. Go do what you got to do. I mean, that's the simple thing for me. I mean, I don't know if it actually works that way, but you'd have thought common sense and great businessmen would do that.
Look, we're just going to have to wait and see how this one plays out. It is only the 3rd of January, so it is very early on, so there's no need to panic just yet. But let's get on to some new transfer rumours. Sports media are saying that Tottenham Hotspur want to sign Frank Kessie this month. The club are long-term admirers of the AC Milan midfielder. Obviously, he is out of contract in the summer, so you can get him on a Bosman. But you know what? If I was part of the Spurs hierarchy, if you want him and you're going to plan to get him in the summer, just pay a little bit of money, 5-10 million, and get him in now.
Okay, so again, I'm going to try and stay calm. A minute ago, they haven't had a meeting. We don't know who we want. But yesterday, we are in talks with Adama Traore. And now, apparently, we want Kessie this month. But there's been no meeting. There's no meeting. They're yet to decide what's going on. It's the biggest walking, talking contradiction and nonsense I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It really is. How can they say, well, we haven't done this yet, we're waiting to do this, but we want these people? Do
you reckon Conte's saying he hasn't had the meeting just to grab people a bit by surprise?
I won't put it past Conte, but I've got 21 years of evidence to say it may be another person that's at the wheel of this, unfortunately. But listen, we all want Kessie. We all know what he can bring. I'd want him here right now as opposed to the summer for free. And let's just hope it happens.
All right, let's move on. Gazzetta dello Sport are reporting that Tottenham have offered Ndombele to Roma. The Italian club want to sign him on a loan deal with a buy option attached, while Spurs would prefer it to be an obligation to buy for around 30 million euros, which means quite a significant loss. We signed him for 65 million, so 30 million, less than half of what we paid. But, if Conte wants him out, let's just get him out.
Arrivederci. Goodbye. See ya. Ta-da. Off you go. I think this loan move with... did you say obligation or did you say with option?
Roma want the option. We want to add in the obligation.
Okay. So, listen, either way works for me for, first of all, getting him off the wage bill. That's the most important thing. Italy, I think he will do well. The game might be at a tempo where he can obviously be more consistent. So... I think we need to cut our losses and just do what we've got to do with this. But getting off the wage bill is the most important thing. Deal with the obligation or the option later on down the line.
Let's move on. There has been some comments from Dusan Vlahovic. And he's saying about his future, only God knows what will happen in the next period. My desire is to take Fiorentina to Europe because we haven't been in Europe for a long time. We'll see. So... to me, that says that he ain't going nowhere this January. It's something that I always thought, to be honest. And it means, he's going to want to get Fiorentina, who've, stuck by him all this time in his career, to help them out, get them into Europe, and then potentially leave in the summer. That's the way I see it playing out. And if it does leave it to the summer, you're going to be having loads of teams coming in for him. And for him to come to Tottenham, I find it highly, highly, highly unlikely.
Yeah, this is not what we wanted to hear. Like we were saying, I think this is the name on everyone's lips that we really, really want. One thing I will say, and I've said it the whole time about him, I have to admire the way Dusan Vlahovic is handling himself and conducting himself, and he's made his feelings very, very prominent that he's not signing a new contract. He wants to move on to bigger and better things. But while he is there, he is going to give blood, sweat and tears and everything to help the team that discovered him get where they need to be. And you've got to admire that from a personal and ethical kind of way. But listen, we really, really need him. We really, really want him. And like you said, this summer, it's the summer of strikers, really, isn't it? You've got Mbappe, you've got Haaland, you've got Vlahovic.
When you look at it, you've got clubs, especially in the Premier League, right, that desperate for strikers. Right now, you've got Chelsea with Lukaku. Who knows what's going on with him? They're going to need a striker if he's going to walk out the door. You've got Arsenal, Aubameyang.
Yep.
They need a striker. You've got Man City, who don't have a striker. You've got Liverpool, who've got Firmino and Jota, but they're not really natural strikers. You've got a lot of big clubs now that are in need of a striker.
Yep, and then you've got to add one there, and that's just from financial reasons. That's Newcastle. If they're still in the Premiership, which is a huge doubt, but this summer striker, it is going to be the summer of strikers, and if it waits till the summer, I'm afraid we're going to get left behind with these kind of targets.
And when you actually think about it, there's a lack of top quality strikers around at the moment.
Yep. Yep, they're like gold dust. They are literally like gold dust right now. Like when you're looking at keepers to replace Lloris, you've got the world's elite, which aren't going to come, and there really isn't a big pool of players to pick from there. So it's going to be very hard if we have to try and get this in the summer over the line. But it is looking like it's going to be that way.
Yeah. Moving on, Gazzetta dello Sport are saying Tottenham could drop their interest in signing Dusan Vlahovic this summer to pursue a deal for Romelu Lukaku. Who is reporting this stuff? Why? I don't get how.
I'm so happy they had that meeting.
How can a credible source report Lukaku to Tottenham? It's the most lazy journalism I've ever seen. Just because Conte had him at Inter. They think, yeah, Spurs can get him off Chelsea. Yeah, right.
Spurs can get him off Chelsea. Spurs will pay the wages. Spurs just love a bit of striker with a bit of controversy that says, I already want to go back to my old club. So from what I've heard, last week I did a update with Simeon sitting right there, and we got told Griezmann's coming. And now what a front two we're going to have of Griezmann and Lukaku. This is not happening in a month of Sundays. And like you said, this is just pathetic, lazy journalism.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he just signed for Chelsea for 90 million in the summer.
Yep.
So they're at least going to want to get their money back or close to. So you've got to think that they'd want at least 80 million for him. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to dignify that with a response. Whether it comes to whether we'll stop that up.
It's the most ridiculous. I only put this in there because of how ridiculous it actually is.
Is it April Fools? Have we been here that long?
Not April yet, is it? It's 3rd of January. But you know what? 3rd of January may as well be April Fools for Tottenham anyway,
exactly.
Because it's a January transfer window. But let's move on anyway. The Telegraph out in Holland are reporting that Ajax want to sell David Neres this transfer window. If they are successful, they will look to pursue a move for Steven Bergwijn. What do you think about that?
They can look all they want. Have a nice look, have a nice scouting session, but I don't want him to go. We spoke earlier today when we did buy, keep, sell loan. I think there's a player in there, and he's started to show it. We've just got to work out how to get these niggling injuries to stop, keep him confident, and I think there is a real player there. I think there is a real player, so they can look, but they can't touch. What
do you think Antonio Conte's views are on it? Do you think that it's something that he'd be open to?
I don't know. He's got to have a meeting with Levy on February the 5th or something like that. So they'll discuss it then. Listen, we bought Bergwijn in for big money, or for big money at the time. And then obviously he started off well, and then he's had the fallout with the abuse he got after Liverpool, the injuries. And we saw against West Ham, and when he came against Palace, he can do bits, but he's one of those arm around. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine him under Harry Redknapp if we'd had like if he fades, he would be flying. And he's one of those kind of people, and he's one where Conte gave him a chance, and he was starting to grab it, and another niggly injury has come. I just hope the fitness team can work it out with him.
Yeah, me too. Next one is from L'Echo de Bergamo, and they're saying Tottenham could terminate Gollini's loan as early as this January. Atalanta would send him back on loan yet again if he is to be going back there. We spoke about this earlier about Gollini. Both of us, I think, pretty much in agreement saying that we don't think he's good enough, especially to replace a Hugo Lloris. So if he's not good enough to replace Hugo Lloris, it's probably worth just cutting our losses, saying goodbye.
Exactly, but again, if we do cut our loss, and I do agree with it, we're in the situation we need another goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep him to the end of the season. I would.
Yeah.
But for a long-term thing, probably not for me.
No, I mean, like I said, I don't know if they are talking about it till the end of the season or January, but again, we're in a position where we need a replacement goalkeeper, whether it be Alfie Whiteman, whether it be we go and bring someone in. It's until Hugo signs that contract, we can't really do anything. Until we know that's happening, then we can discuss Gollini.
Yeah. All right. And last but not least, Heung-min Son has been named the best footballer in Asia for a 5th consecutive year, winning the award for the 7th time in its 9-year history. That shows the class of the man. The two other winners in its 9-year history were Keizuyuki Honda and Shinji Okazaki in the year that Leicester won the Premier League title. Heung-min Son has won it in every single other year. So big up Heung-min Son, congratulations and well done, yeah.
That must be the biggest landslide victory of all time. I mean, I think maybe the monster will come. I don't know who came second.
I'll tell you what, he got 30% of the votes. Second was Sardar Azman of Zenit St. Petersburg that got 13% of the votes.
So what, 17% difference between... So yeah, I mean, listen, he blatantly deserves it. He's been honest. I think he's had it every year since he's been with us. He just improves and improves, and I can't see anyone wrestling that away from him next year either.
Yeah. The only player that won it since he's been at us was Okazaki the year that Leicester won the title. That was the only
That was his first year, wasn't it? Or second?
No, it was his second year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... and he actually won it a year while he was at Leverkusen as well, the year before he signed for us. So that is congratulations to Heung-min Son, best Asian footballer once again. But that is our Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always,
come on you Spurs.